we tried for a year naturally, and of course that's the other thing that you hear, that it can take, then you realize it can take a little while, and then you discover the ovulation predictor kit, that terrible thing, and you start to live your life by it. And after a year, nothing had happened, and we went to a fertility clinic to have a sort of round of routine tests, and that was the start of what became a decade-long struggle to conceive, that involved a total of 11 rounds of IVF and multiple miscarriages, and then also an ectopic pregnancy that was discovered quite late. It was in my stomach, and almost, was a very serious situation. I always say that it's a travesty that there isn't a word in the English language for feeling happy for someone whilst also feeling sad for yourself at the same time. And that is the only way that I can describe what it feels like. And I wish there was a word for it, and there isn't. And it's a real feeling. And one of the really hard things is that whether you get there in the end or you don't, you're robbed of having that joyous moment yourself and also sharing it with your friends, because that's all you want to do, to share this life transition with your close friends, and you can't. What I did in my sort of professional life is that I ran a big theatre in London. I had an amazing job. I thought, like many women, that getting a great job was the hard thing, and that becoming a mother was the really easy thing. And like many people, I was incredibly secretive about what I was going through. And I think that was like a combination of a range of reasons, including hope that next month this nightmare was going to be over and I was joining the mummy club too, to shame that like women had fought so long to be more than wives and mothers, and for us to have careers. And I had this amazing career, but it wasn't enough. All I wanted to be was a mother. I really seriously thought about bringing that book out under a pseudonym, because I didn't want the world to know the full horror of what I had been going through. And I always say that, like, in the wider world, I was no one, but in my small theatre world, I was someone, and I just didn't want people to, know the depths of desperation and, madness that I had gone to. But I also wanted to see some stuff changed in the fertility world. I wanted to see, I wanted to break the taboo, but I really passionately believe that you need to treat the mind as well as the body, because I do really feel that the psychological effects of going through infertility and fertility treatment are huge. And I wanted to see clinics being better around that. And I could only really sort of make those social changes if I was prepared to come out and go, this is me. So in the end, I decided that my first book, I would write it as me. And then that just changed everything.
I've been involved in this area for about 10 years in one way or another, be it my own journey or, helping other people. It's so amazing to see somebody who has taken their journey and turned it into something to inspire other people. What drove you to do that? Obviously, it was to make the impact, but you must have had such passion.
When I first started writing, I really, really did think that I was going to write myself to a happy ending. So it also bemuses me that I've ended up in the center of this industry, that essentially I am not the best advertisement for this industry. But I also, really feel that experience needs to be made better, and that I'm in a good place to try and do that. And also, you know, like incredibly positive things have happened as a result of this terrible thing that I've been through. And I sort of want to help other people, men and women, but you know, particularly, if I'm honest, particularly women, to know that it will be okay, whatever the outcome is. There are many different routes to parenthood, and there are also many routes to a fulfilling life, which include not becoming a parent. The madness about this decision is that I know nothing. I mean, I can swim, but I am not a very good swimmer. I hate exercise. I still hate exercise. I abhor the cold. And if you want to be a channel swimmer, I mean, one of the first things you learn is that you can't wear a wetsuit, because Captain Matthew Webb, who first swam the channel in 1875, didn't. But there seemed to be one redeeming thing that I learned about swimming the channel, is that it's a license to eat, and something that I do utterly love. My unadulterated pleasure in life is food. So from this came the idea that I would try and swim the channel, and I would write to 21 famous women and ask them if they would meet and eat with me to help me get fat to swim the channel.
What was actually going through your mind as you were doing the swim?
At the beginning, I was very, very sick. And in the middle, I was very, very badly stung by jellyfish. And at the end, it took me hours before I got anywhere near France. And through all my mind, it was, if I don't make it, I suppose, if I don't make it, then, you know, there's another thing that I failed at, you know, and what has nature got against me?
What I didn't realise when I started these things is that actually, however hard you work, the end result is outside your control, because nature decides whether you can cross the sea or climb a mountain. And actually that's really similar to trying to conceive, because nature decides to...
Tell us a bit about the training that you've been doing.
Yeah, well, the main thing you have to do is climb mountains. I've climbed several mountains in Nepal now, including, I'm just back from what I described my final training mountain, and sadly our team didn't make it to the top. We basically got stymied by unforecasted winds, and very dangerous winds, and we had to come down, and that's what I mean when I say, like, the mountain decides.
You feel that when you're going through fertility treatment, you know, you feel like, why me? This is unfair, you know. And so I think one of the things that was, you know, I said to the people, I had an amazing team of people who supported me, you know, and I said to them, I don't want you to take me out unless I'm dying. You know, this is how important this swim is to me. And it can't ever make up for what I went through, of course. And, you know, I'm the first person to say I'm never getting over the pain that I went through my fertility treatment. But it gave me something else that I needed, and that has been life-changing.